Hi, everyone. My name is Georgia Truan. I am the host of Fight CPS with Miss G. Um, I just wanted to just say this to you guys, whoever's calling CPS hotline is literally calling the devil's hotline. I literally said that to one of a parent that I was speaking with before the show. I literally told her it's literally calling the devil's hotline. Once you call CPS hotline because you're concerned of your daughter, for example, and you want to get her help. Not so much that your daughter is abusing the children or abusing her pregnancy, is more so as getting help, like daycare or for low income families, what have you, or getting your family some kind of help with housing, all this. Once you call CPS, you're literally calling the devil's hotline. I can't emphasize that enough to you guys. Because once CPS becomes involved, you're opening the door to the devil to come in. Once they get involved, that's it. They're going to accuse the parent of neglect. Like this grandmother I was speaking with before the show, she literally called for her daughter to get her help because she was having a rough time with her pregnancy pertaining to like in-home service, like help to help her at home or what have you. CPS got involved. She's still pregnant. And they accused her of neglecting the child. So I told this grandmother, I said, it's literally you calling for help, is calling CPS for help, is calling the devil's hotline. And I know I'm not wrong with that one, okay? Again, I'm going to repeat, CPS all over the United States, they're not after the well-being of the child or the children or your family life. Canada, I had a call from Canada yesterday. Me and him were talking for an hour and 32 minutes in Canada. That man was trying so hard to protect his daughter, and he was homeschooling her, what have you. His daughter is literally intelligent for her being 8-year-old. She has a mind of a college student, intelligent. When he called CPS in Canada, he's from Poland, so he's new to Canada, by the way. When he called CPS in Canada, the first thing they've done is remove the child from his custody. They accused him of all kinds of stuff. So it's not just the United States, it's also Canadian as well. So Canadian government is literally a democratic government. They're after children. They're making a lot of money, a lot of profit from those children. So when he was telling me the story how the CPS workers were behaving with him and how many workers he had to go through, I realized it's not just the United States, it's also Canada. So this dynamic with children is literally, how can I say it? Child for profit. Children for profit. That's what it is. Your child is for the profit of the government. The state makes money off of your child. The county makes money off of your child. Everyone benefits from your child's removal. So when you call the devil's hotline, which is CPS, the devil's hotline, you're literally opening the door to the devil to walk in your home and destroy it. There is nothing beneficial coming from the government that will help you. If you have children and you apply for cash aid or food stamps or Medi-Cal, they will come after you because you become a target to them. If you notice, CPS and DPSS, they work side by side. If you have children and you're collecting from them for I think 6 months or more, you become a target. This is not, literally you become a number. They know where you live, how many kids you have, and what have you. When they know you're collecting from them, they will come after you because they know you can't afford an attorney. So they know how many children you have. They even know when you're pregnant because you have to report to them if you're pregnant, and if you have a child on the way, that you would need food stamps for. Once you let them know you have a child on the way, all of a sudden CPS is going to come with an allegation. Now, I'm not saying DPS is making the allegation. I'm saying that the social workers will get notification from DPSS, where you get food stamps and cash aid. Then they're going to come up with anonymous call. Oftentimes, the social workers are the ones making the anonymous calls. And that came from 3 whistleblowers from CPS. The social worker supervisor knows exactly what's going on. And this is why they operate on a demonic, sadistic strategy. I call it sadistic. Social workers will give you a hype, right? They're going to trauma bond you to them. When they trauma bond you to them, it's to get you to trust them just for a brief minute. Once you trust them, then they're going to use everything you said to them against you. So with that being said, who else has that trait? If you guys think about it, and you guys read, or if you know a little bit about psychology, narcissistic has the same trait. That's why they are a narcissistic demonic system. Because a narcissist will trauma bond you to them by using like love bond. I call it trauma bond because it's not real love, it's fake love. They're gonna traumatize you once you trust them and you think literally they're for your good when they're not for your good. So grandparents, relatives, wise up, because the parents are literally dealing with the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. So again, if a social worker tells you that your cousin said this about you, your mother said this about you, your uncle said this about you, it's not true. I can't emphasize enough to you how bad it gets for them to destroy the families. Destroying the families is their goal. So you guys need to, as parents, I'm begging you, I need you guys to take care of yourselves. Women, mothers, that is, take a shower, God's sakes. Brush your teeth, put on some makeup, dress appropriately. That doesn't mean you hate your children. No, that means you're taking care of yourself. Your health is important. Your appearance is important. Because that's going to give you the will to fight. And I'm not saying fight using your strength. I'm saying fight and stand up to these demonic entities. There is absolutely no social worker. I was told on a show, one of my shows about 3 weeks ago, maybe, if I'm not mistaken, one of the people that were watching my show said to me on the show that there was a social worker on Bob's show, and she was like bragging on how she loves her job and she loves helping others and what have you. That is a lie. Social workers watch my shows. They follow me. And they just want to make themselves look like they're victims and they're there to help and all this stuff. I haven't watched the show personally when she told me, but I guarantee you 100%. And if she has the balls, she can come on my show. She's lying. 100% liar. Why? Because she would not be in this type of demonic entity if she really wants to help children. Because she knows if she goes against her supervisor, she's not going to keep her job. That came from 3 whistleblowers, all on social media, that I know personally. And these whistleblowers literally worked for the departments of Children and Family Services. So if she still has a job telling us that she's protecting the children, that's a lie. Because if she goes against her supervisor, she's going to lose that job. I don't sugarcoat anything. For those of you guys that know me, I don't lie when it comes to this crap. Because literally every parent is dealing with a sociopathic liars. literally liars in the system. They're misguiding them, misleading them. They tell them it's okay for them to continue to do the classes. So you put the children in an adoptive home while they continue to do their classes, but you're already 200 steps ahead of the parent. Well, the parent is already exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally from your abuse. You're having them do classes, traumatizing the parents, while you already placed the child or the children in an adoptive foster home. Why? Because you know from the first moment you heard about that baby or the children that you will adopt these children, because you know their ages and you know which adoptive home wants them. I had a whistleblower on my show over a month ago, literally said exactly what I just told you guys. Every adoptive foster home will tell the social workers what type of children they're looking for based on the questions the social workers ask them. So for anyone that tells me the social worker is there to help children, come on my show, honey, and discuss how you help children. Because it ain't sinking up here. And it will never will. Never, ever, ever will it be. So when they tell the parents, oh yeah, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But then the children are going to be adopted. Sad, right? Oftentimes the social worker asks the adoptive foster parents, would you like Indian tribe children? Because if we get them, we can place them with you. Why do they want Indian tribe children? Think about that for a second. Because not that they love the children, but they're going to gain benefit from that tribe. Homes or whatever they give the tribes. It's all free. It's all money. It's advantage that they're gaining. So, again, I'm going to say you become a target to the state and county once you literally collect from the food stamps and cash aid department and Medi-Cal, especially if you have children. The government is not designed to help you. If you guys recall, you heard a certain president say, do not depend on the system to help you, to feed you. Go struggle if you have to. Get a job. Take care of yourself and your children. Don't depend on them. It's for a reason that president said that. Because you become a number in that system, like I said earlier. And you become a target. While the state is making money from your children, you're also collecting from that state to feed your children. So again, I'm going to repeat. If that social worker that was on Bob's show wants to come on my show, you know how to get a hold of me. Because I know you're a liar and you cannot show your face on my show because you know that I know you're a liar. When CPS tells the parents to do classes, unnecessary classes, while the children are already in an adoptive foster home, your court-appointed attorney is not helping you. Why isn't he or she helping you? Think about it for a minute. He or she gets paid by the state. How are they going to bite the hand that feeds them? They're not going to file any motions. They're not going to help you. They're going to say, oh no, Miss So-and-so, I can't use the recording because you can't record social workers. Well, they're government officials. Government officials. Now, I know you can't record anyone that you're talking to without their permission, but for God's sakes, why don't they want them to be recorded if you really think about it? Think about it for a second. So, there is a attorney that I was watching. Hold on a second. Let me get it. Let's see. Also, I want you guys to hear this real quick. Hold on.
The First Amendment, Congress shall make no law prohibiting the free exercise of religion or freedom of speech or freedom of assembly. However, if you're a private company, that doesn't apply to you. Where it gets tricky, though, and what we need to then emphasize, why did the federal government then, why were they allowed to then shut us up? That's illegal. Remember, the Constitution are not rules for us. The Constitution are rules for the government. It's completely different. It's the first form of government ever where they decide to restrain government before they ever do a law for the people. It's a pretty remarkable thing, right? The Bill of Rights is a Bill of Rights reasserting God-given natural rights for you where the government can't do. So, for example, you might say, oh, Charlie, that's just an exaggeration. No, it's not. When the Federal Bureau of Investigation actively went to Twitter and met on a weekly basis to shut up my Twitter account, that's against the law. That's the government breaking the law. And that needs to be exploited in the courts, and people need to go to jail for a very, very long time for what they did. Because the government is not allowed to shut you up. They're not allowed to shut you up through proxy or through ally or through a wink and a nod or through an affiliate. They cannot do that. It's the First Amendment. Congress shall make.
Okay, so this is not the attorney I was talking about. This is a congressman. But there's another attorney. His name is Michael. He was literally telling that everyone. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see if that's the one I'm talking about.
Baby, it's my child for me. Hello, TikTokers. Welcome to Real Law Talk. These tragic removal stories happen every day across our nation. Where do kids go when they're removed? So in New York, upon their immediate removal, they will first go to the ACS offices. That's our CPS. They stay there for hours. There's no real facilities for them. Then they go to some sort of medical clearance, either at a hospital, usually at a hospital. And then they're placed immediately in what we have as a children's center, which is a warehouse for children that is in Manhattan, in the middle of Manhattan. And here's the best part about that. It's not a lockdown facility. So a 13-year-old can just walk out at any time, day and night, and CPS does not stop it. I actually had that case where my client's 12-year-old daughter was in wandering Manhattan at 4 a.m. I don't have to tell you, that's not a time for even adults to be out. So they are used, then the children are either placed with kinship care, meaning with someone from the family, or they are processed into the foster care system. They can stay in the children's center for months, waiting for a proper foster parent. And the foster care system in New York and in every other state is completely dysfunctional. So those kids will languish there at this children's center with no supervision, and they simply do whatever they want, and their lives are put in danger every day. That's what happens in New York. It's obviously different in every state, but that's what you can expect. Also, you can expect that CPS will not communicate with you once the children are removed until they get to court, because they ignore all the parents, because obviously parents are very upset, so that they take the time to block out the parents and not communicate. And that is the tactic that they use to attack parents. And that's Real Law Talk.
Okay. These are children who are teenagers. This happens in California as well. When you have a teenager, they put that teenager in a group home, or they put them, whatever. They just toy with them, where they do drugs, prostitution, you name it. When the teenager runs away from from that facility, they leave them. They tell the facility, do not call the police, you call us. That child runs off wandering, and then that child gets trafficked and gets hooked on drugs and what have you. They don't care. As long as the child doesn't go back home, doesn't go back to the parent, where the CPS is trying to say they're dangerous, right? They let them wander off. But then if they do go home and tell mom and dad to protect them from CPS, CPS finds out and they come arrest the parents, that they're accomplice in taking the child when the child, he or she, ran away from the department because of the abuse they inflict on them. There is so much going on. Attorney Michael from New York also said, it's not illegal to record government officials. Again, I will repeat, it's not illegal to record government officials. I have his TikTok video here, and I'm literally, I was looking for it because I actually sent it to Stacy to watch as well. And let's see. Hold on, guys. Hold on. A CPS worker also, there was a CPS worker that I just found out a few days ago. I don't know if you guys watched this.
9 kids, and her 10th is on the way. And it is not like she's living the dream with a big fancy house or a bank account. Larissa and her boyfriend were dead broke. So with that many children and that little money, you would certainly hope the caseworker assigned to this family was on the ball, making sure that every one of the kids in the house had 3 squares a day and a warm place to sleep. But that caseworker, Nancy Carabello from Catholic Charities, well, she had her own definition of charity. And it mostly had to do with her getting something for nothing for herself. That's the allegation. She's been charged now with making a deal with Larissa for buying upwards of $10,000 worth of food stamps that were supposed to be for Larissa's 9 kids. And then she's also alleged to have paid just half price for those food stamps, 50 cents on the dollar. I'm going to let the prosecutor explain with a little bit more detail.
So, social workers, people act like, some of them are good, some of them are bad. Actually, the ones who are good are the ones that leave the department. The good ones that don't want to hurt children are the ones that actually resign from the Department of Children and Family Services. Again, I'm going to repeat. Social workers who stays in the department are the ones who are sadistically controlled. And they can do the work the supervisor of that department wants them to do. The 3 whistleblowers now I have that told you that I talked to you guys about before, they literally showed me documentations, text messages, and emails from the supervisors and phone calls from the supervisor stating that they need to go to a certain hospital to remove that baby. The mother was told that there's no drugs in the baby. She's clean, baby clean, but then they go and remove the baby. Then all of a sudden, they send the social worker in the room where the mother is and the baby, and then they pretend they're hospital personnel. They're asking them questions. All of a sudden, they come back and say, there was drugs found in the baby. There was drugs found in the mother. And they take that baby, put the baby in an adoptive home. That mother doesn't have money to fight for her baby or herself. And if the father is there, of course, the father is going to lose his mind. The grandmother is going to lose her mind. And they're going to try, the first instinct the parent had is to protect the baby. First instinct. So once they do that, they're going to be considered as unfit. They're going to be considered as literally crazy because they're protecting their children. And then they accuse the parent of abuse and neglect. When the system is abusing, neglecting children in New York, in Canada, everywhere in the world, they're literally abuse and neglect from the Department of Children and Family Services. They're tossing the children anywhere. They don't care, especially teenagers. They want teenagers to run away. They want them to be sex trafficked. Why else would they tell the foster home and the group homes, do not call the police, call us? Call us. Don't worry about the teenager running away. Why? I want that social worker that was on Bob's show to come to my show and explain that to me. I want her to come to the show and explain that to me. Since she's all, I care about the kids. Really? Yeah. I dare you to come to my show. Dare you. Man, I dare you. do not put your guards down when it comes to these people. Do not share everything with them because you think that you're a great parent and you've done nothing wrong and you have nothing to hide. I already know you've done nothing wrong and you have nothing to hide. But these people that you're opening up to didn't give a crap if you're an angel from heaven. They're going to steal your baby. Oftentimes, I get calls from a lot of you guys a year ago, 2023, when the case was just an investigative case in LA County, Riverside, Lancaster, San Bernardino County, Indio, and San Diego. All of a sudden, this whole week and last week, I get calls from the same people I spoke with in 2023. They lost their parental rights. They all told me the same exact thing. Miss G, social worker was so nice to us at first, and all of a sudden she became like a demon. They said we're good parents, we're doing the classes, we're done with the classes, we're da-da-da-da-da. And you're going to get your kids. Other social workers said the same thing to all the parents in different counties in California. They don't know each other. Social workers are now saying, we are above the law. 2 of them were recorded in court saying that. The judges don't matter, they said. We are above the law, they said. And I quote, several social workers in California are telling parents outside the court they're above the law. Several parents recorded that, give the recording to their court-appointed attorneys, and their court-appointed attorneys told them they can't record the social workers. So Attorney Michael from New York said, we can record any public officials. That's part of our rights. And they are public officials. So why are they so scared of being recorded? Think about it. The reason they're scared to be recorded because they lie. That's why they're afraid to be recorded. If you have a CPS defense attorney, I told you guys a million times, that defense attorney will use that recording. They need to know, they need to be so experts in this that they know how to admit this as evidence. Because that will help your trial, that will help your federal lawsuit against the Department of Satanic Worshippers, which is also known as Children Family Services. The reason I like to call them satanics is because only a Satan would want to divide families apart from their children. Demons are the only ones after that. And that's why they manipulate. That's why they withhold evidence. And this is why they lie. Lie under oath. The judges know. They don't give a crap. Because again, the social workers were right. They're the ones who run the show. I wonder what a judge would feel like when you say that, when he or she hears that, a social worker is saying that. What, they're going to get promoted? Because they sure don't get fired. So, you have rights as parents. To exercise your rights, you have to find the right CPS defense attorney and make sure that you're not hiring a family law attorney. Make sure you're hiring a CPS defense attorney. Attorney Matthew Harris, he's a CPS defense attorney in Texas. And Attorney Michael, I'm going to have to spell his last name, dude. I can never pronounce his last name. He laughs at me most of the time. So his name is Michael. He's in New York. His name is Michael Desario. I think I'm saying that right. It's Discioarro. He's in New York. But the one thing about Michael, and he said that when he was on my show, he said that he doesn't take old cases. Okay, so Attorney Davis, for example, a lot of people call him when cases are a little older, and for him to stop an adoption. Now, we stopped an adoption before recently, right? Like a few months ago or a month ago. But again, it's going to cost a lot of money. So people need to be aware that if you want to stop an adoption, it's going to cost a lot of money. So don't be surprised if you call me and I tell you how much the retainer is. Now, Attorney Michael likes to deal with brand new cases before, it gets messy, way before, like the first week or the first day you get contacted by a social worker, et cetera, et cetera. Those are good cases. Why? Because his job and Attorney Davis's job and Attorney Matthew Harris' job is to stop them from removing the children. Because oftentimes they have no jurisdiction removing your children. They literally have no proof. And oftentimes people tell me, Ms. G, the social worker said the burden of proof is on me. No, the burden of proof is not on you as a parent. The burden of proof is on the social worker because they're the ones accusing you of the charges. Your attorney's job is to literally show evidence to contradict what they're saying, accusing you of. But oftentimes, 100% of the time, the court-appointed attorney will never, ever, and I repeat, will never, ever submit this evidence into court because he or she doesn't want you to use it for trial or appealing it. Remember, having evidence in, submitting evidence in to court, your attorney will be able to cross-examine using this evidence. And if, say, something happens to the case and you want to appeal it, you would be able to bring this evidence in your appeal. But you can't bring it in your appeal if you did not submit it into court as evidence. Again, I know I show you this almost every show I have. But Attorney Davis's book, it has all of that information, and everything that I'm telling you is in his book. So I can't emphasize enough. When you have a WIC hearing, for example, a 366.21 hearing, it gives you another 6 months down the line, right? So basically, it's just prolonging your case again and again and again. Usually when you get to the 366, it gets to the 366 termination of parental rights. So it goes in stages: 366E, 366.21E, 366.21F, and goes on and on and on. Now, 0.26 hearing is literally adoption. You lose your parental rights, the child is going to get adopted. That's on page 59 of Attorney Davis's book. So your attorney then will have to file a 388 petition and ask for a request return of the child. That 388 petition, if your attorney tells you to fill it up and you don't know what the hell you're doing, I'm talking about the court-appointed attorneys, they're dumb. They're so dumb. They're evil. How are you going to fill something out when you have no idea what you're doing? The 388 petition is so important for your attorney to focus on that petition because that petition has to be approved by the judge. So they need to know what they're doing in order for that petition to, a good attorney would know what to do in that petition. But a court-appointed attorney, there's absolutely no way in hell that court-appointed attorney knows what he or she doing. I apologize if you got your feelings hurt. I don't give a shit. Honestly, with all due respect, if court-appointed attorneys do their job, they're not afraid of the state or the county. They would have a better score on bringing children home with the fit parent and not place the children with abusive homes. But the court-appointed attorney's job is to tell you this, and correct me if I'm wrong, which I know I'm not wrong. They say, just do what the social worker tells you to do. Why? If you're the attorney, why do you want your client to literally have diarrhea in the mouth with the social worker that will criminate as her or him as a parent? Wouldn't you as an attorney want to be there with your client? Oftentimes the clients tells me, oh yeah, Miss G, my attorney said he's going to be there. All of a sudden the attorney no show. And then the social worker shows an email from her attorney, from the client's attorney, saying it's okay for you to conduct the meeting without me. Interesting. So, and all of a sudden, they act like they're deaf and mute when the social worker comes up with new allegations based on that meeting with the social workers. So, again, maybe these attorneys were better before they started working with CPS, in children court. Maybe they were better people, but then somehow they got corrupted. But usually a good person will never be corrupted. A good person, a God-fearing person would never do the devil's work. Ever do the devil's work. And if they do the devil's work, that means they never had anything good in them to begin with. Oftentimes people say, Miss G, I don't know why we're being attacked. I'm a good person. I don't hurt people. I've done nothing wrong, etc., etc. Okay? I'm going to say this to you guys. The devil is not really attacking you because you're a weak person. The devil is attacking you because you are a threat. Because there's something valuable inside you. And a thief usually comes to break in an empty house. Remember that. They don't just do that. They don't just go to an empty house and go break in it. Right? So the devil couldn't take you guys out. So he is trying to wear you guys out. Remember that. When the devil cannot take you guys out, he will try to wear you out. And how he tries to wear you out using your children. So if you give in, you're literally giving in to the devil. I face challenges every single day, 24/7 a day. But not once will I ever bow down to the devil. Because I know God is with me. Think about this for a second. God knows we're tired. He knows that you are trying to do everything possible. But what Satan wants you to stop doing is believing in God. And I'm going to tell you this again. Satan wants to discourage you from trusting in God. Because he knows once you do, you're going to have a breakthrough. And oftentimes you guys don't understand what I'm saying to you. But as God is my witness, I have seen God at work in my life dealing with those demonic people around me. The devil sees the light in you. Remember that. The devil sees the light in you. He wants to attack you to dim that light. I became bolder. I became stronger. God strengthened me. So I stand in front of fear and I know he's with me. Because again, fear is the devil. When you stand in front of fear and not fear, that's literally the devil will be like angry. How is she not fearing me? How is she? How is she? And every time I mention the name of God, somehow shit happens. But again, I'm going to tell you, I face it boldly, literally bold. And I look at it and I tell it, you don't know who my God is. So let me tell you about my God. And I literally talk to the problem about my God. And God sends you armies of people, baby, to protect you if you only trust in him and only him. Remove doubt, remove fear, and trust in the Almighty God. I'm not telling you to go tell the social worker, God is going to get you. You are an evil person. You're going to go straight to hell. No, that's not how God wants you to hold yourself. And that's not how. Prayers, faith, prayers and faith is what destroys your enemy. Prayers and faith. Believe me when I tell you this, I have seen it recently. God made the enemy my footstool. I'm telling you the God honest truth. That's why I literally look at it now when evil people are trying to do shit. And I just smile, shake my head. I'm like, let me tell you about my God. But remember, you cannot go tell that to a social worker. But inside you, you're telling your problem about your God. You're not vocalizing it in front of their faces. Okay? Hi, Akima. Akima said, and don't even give you a chance, especially if you have history. They're biased and based on that. That is true. Manipulation and brainwashing. That is true. You can record if you're out in public and in your home. That is also true. You should always record your interaction with any government official, police, CPS, any agency. That is very true. But oftentimes the attorneys will tell you, oh, no, you can't. But again, if they're public officials, yes, you can. Hey, truly amazing. I know Akima very well. Akima and I talked for hours and hours and hours. She's also an innocent parent. Innocent. She did nothing wrong. Literally nothing wrong. Like each and every one of you guys out there. Oh, Darkness. Hi, Darkness. One. I hate saying that name, Darkness. Seriously. So Darkness One said you. Oh yeah, that is Darkness One. Sorry, I read it as Akima wrote it. Need to change my glasses. But yeah, but honestly, guys, even though other attorneys tell you you're not supposed to record the social workers, but again, it's in there. It's in the Constitution. You can record any public officials. So I don't know if most of you guys know what I'm about to say right now, or some of you guys know what I'm about to say right now, but there is a recording of a hearing in 3 appellate judges, I believe, social worker attorney. It's so funny. A social worker's attorney is telling 3 appellate judges that it's okay for the social workers to lie to get children from their parents. So it's okay to lie to the parents. That's all over freaking YouTube. That it's okay to lie to the parents to get the children to remove the children from the parents. The 3 judges couldn't believe the social worker attorney actually said that. And she's making reasons as to why it's okay. So again, that social worker that was on Bob's show, I would love to have you on my show, baby, because I know you're a liar, 100% liar. Because there's, again, a social worker will never stay in that department doing illegal crap because the supervisor run the show. And they're going to do whatever the supervisor tells them to do, and they will lie to protect their supervisor. The ones that resign from that department are the ones who are whistleblowers because they've seen the lies, manipulation, and the injustice against families. So for those of you that watched the show late, I'm going to repeat. Anyone that calls CPS hotline, they're literally dialing that number for the devil to walk in. Hotline, CPS hotline, is the devil's hotline number. Anyone that reports any type of, the children are hungry, I need food stamps and all that, blah, 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 blah. They ask you how many children you have when you fill the application, how old are the children, etc., etc. They interview the children and you, and this and that. And before you know it, 6 months later, CPS are at your door saying they received an anonymous call. They will make it look like it was your mama, your daddy, your sister, your uncle, your this, your that. Because when you meet with a worker from DPSS where you're collecting food stamps and cash aid, the first meeting they will say, do you have any family? Does any family help you? And of course you're thinking, okay, yeah, well, I have to say my family is not helping me because that's the way I have to collect food stamps, right? Then you start saying, oh yeah, my sister and I don't get along. We had a fight on Thanksgiving Day, and my mother-in-law, blah, blah, blah. She's horrible. She's evil. And my sister, oh, she doesn't want to help me. She thinks I don't know how to parent. And before you know it, they have your story. Then they notify CPS. CPS then makes you think it was your sister, it was your mother, it was your aunt, it was your uncle, whoever you complained about that day. And the family are now fighting together. And that woman, mother, has no support. So be careful who you open your mouth to. Usually you're entertaining Satan's little demons. And then you start talking and talking and talking, and you set up yourself to fail. But again, I'm going to repeat. When you open your mouth to DPSS or CPS, you're literally entertaining the devil. And you're setting up your family and yourself. Keep your mouth shut. Lawyer up immediately once you sniff CPS is after you. You are not the most valuable parent to them. The most valuable parent to these hyenas are the abusive ones. Okay? Otherwise, abusive homes, social workers always place the children with abusive homes. Another thing, too, I want to bring to your attention. When trafficking children, they will assign people who become foster parents to traffic children. Now, the social workers will say, oh, yeah, it's a good home, no records, no this, no that, no none. Well, that's because they're assigned to do a task, to traffic children. So oftentimes there's foster homes that wants placement, or the foster homes that wants adoption will tell the social worker the age of the child they want. Age. An infant, or a 3-year-old, or a 2-year-old, or 5-year-old, or 6 or 7 or 8, or 9 or 11 or 12 or 14. Why would you want to adopt a 14-year-old? So a lot of you guys think, oh yeah, the children are placed temporarily. They're not placed temporarily in the home. Don't fool yourself, dudes and dudettes. Don't fool yourselves. I used to think the social workers are 10, 15 steps ahead of you, but the longer I talk to people who are whistleblowers from the department, and the longer I talk to other attorneys who used to be CPS defense attorneys, no longer working for that state, they all tell me the same thing. They are 200 steps ahead of the parents. Not 10, not 15, 200 steps. So while they're going to your house, we need to have a CFT meeting. They already were 200 steps ahead of you. While you're already in the baby step, the first step, the first baby step, you're thinking you're taking alongside with the social workers. You're delusional to think that way. Because when demons are after something, they want to get it. And they get mad and they have a tantrum when they lose. They want their money. The love of money is root of all evil. It's not so much the money itself, it's that love for money. Love for money meaning you destroy anyone that comes in the way for that money. That's the love of money, is the root of all evil. Because you're literally destroying families and children to get that money from the federal government, where we always pay extra for at the end of the year. They take humongous cuts from our checks at the end of the year, from our taxes for that federal government. So we pay taxes on everything, pay taxes on our money that we work for. Somehow the government works with us, because it's weird, because when I bust my butt at work, I don't see a government official next to me working with me. I don't. But they're surely getting my money and everyone's money out there. So again, that federal government is sending them money for stealing children. But they have to say abuse and neglect. Why they have to say abuse and neglect when there is no abuse and neglect? Because in order for them to get the funding, they must have a reason. And the reason must be abuse and neglect. Imminent danger is abuse and neglect. Then they put the parent on the registry list as a abused person, an abusive person to children. The parent end up losing their jobs. They can't work with children anymore. And then they pay the state child support. How, if you are literally allowing them to lose their job because of your false allegations and charges against them? So you want them to go work at McDonald's if they take them with these charges, so they can live in their car and pay you child support. That's how the system works. So please keep your guards up and do not allow them in your home. You need to lawyer up immediately. I think Attorney Davis must have said this about 1 million times on his shows. Attorney Michael in New York says the same thing. Attorney Matthew Harris said the same thing from Texas. Attorney Cree said the same thing. So again, wise up, listen more to these people, and talk less to them. Do not entertain anyone you don't know. Do not spill your guts out to them and tell them things about your personal life, because oftentimes people will use it against you. Stay away from neighbors, stay away from anyone. I don't believe in, well, oftentimes I see people telling me my best friend reported me. I don't believe in best friends. I believe in family. Why? Because if that friend is truly family, you know the ins and outs about her, and you know that he or she is not going to ever hurt you, then they become family. But when people say my best friend reported me, why did your best friend report you? because me and her had a fallout. So your best friend had a fallout with you, and then she reported you to CPS. How is that your best friend? A friend, a true friend that is your family, you put her in a category as family, will never, ever, ever turn against you, even if you had a fallout. Right? If you really think about it, will never turn against you, even if you had a fallout. So if you had a disagreement, all of a sudden CPS is involved because that so-called best friend knows everything about you. That best friend will report you for everything you shared with him or her about your life to CPS. Be careful who you entertain. Your best friend should be God. If you have a problem, go to God. Complain to him. Talk to him. And have faith that he heard you. And leave it in his hand. When it comes to CPS, you need to lawyer up immediately and pray over your attorney. Do not hire a family law attorney. Do not hire a criminal attorney. Do not hire a real estate attorney. Do not hire a freaking immigration attorney. All of that crap, stop it now. They're not going to help you. They're just going to take your money and say, oh, yeah, I can help you. But really? BS. CPS laws are different than family laws. CPS jurisdiction is different than family court jurisdiction. CPS court is higher than family court. So even if you had custody in family court, CPS court can easily remove that custody from you and say, if you and if your family court judge. That's how powerful they are. Okay? I mean, I can't emphasize enough to you how what you guys think your family and, you're, nobody can do anything to hurt you, and, they have no power over you, etc., etc. While you keep thinking that, they already have 200 steps ahead of you. 200 steps. Again, stay away from people that know too much about you and don't give too much information about you. Do not. Again, we're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting those demons in high places. And those demons in high places know exactly what they're doing. So these social workers are not just possessed by one demon, it's demonic, literally legions of demons. You know what they call themselves? We, they. We and they. Think about it. We and they. We and they. That's how they address themselves. And what does the democratic demonic government wants us to do? Is to acknowledge the people that they don't identify as women or men. They identify as they and we. Wow. Yeah. Sad, ain't it? Aaron said, my daughter was taken away because of lies. Yeah, I believe it. Mothers get attacked the most. If the mother and the father are still together, both will be attacked. CPS 100% of the time will favor the abuser. I call them demonic for a reason. Because the lies are the truth and the truth becomes the lies. Again, I'm going to repeat, this is important. Lies are the truth and the truth becomes lies. Oftentimes you guys think you know, but you don't know crap. You have no idea that system, how they operate, who they assign to do their dirty work. There is no decency in that system. I call it the whorehouse. They have absolutely zero remorse They're literally demonic entities. So I want you to, again, wise up. Iron, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. And I just honestly, I want everyone to have their children. I really want you guys to get your kids back, because that to me is a breakthrough for me. You know why? Because it makes me stick it to them even more. Every time you guys get your children back home, makes me happier. Why? Because that's me seeing them suffer. Because they don't like to lose. A demon don't like to lose. Same traits as a narcissist. They don't like to lose. They will do everything to destroy you. Just like a narcissist. They will smear campaign your name. They will accuse you of things. They will inflict pain on you and blame you for reacting towards their lies, right? They taunt you, traumatize you, they inflict pain on you, they literally gaslight you, they disrespect you, and then you react towards it, and then they blame you, right, for your reaction towards their disrespect. Social workers do the same exact thing to parents. They literally keep poking you until you explode, and then they point their finger as you're crazy, and then they tell their flying monkeys. You know who their flying monkeys are? Anyone that believes them. Anyone that believes them, I call it flying monkeys. Because they're so dumb. They want to have people around them that believes them who are dumb. They don't want somebody wise to know what they're up to or have to figure them out. They don't want that. So they're going to destroy that wise person by smear campaigning their name to everyone they come across. It becomes a nightmare that doesn't end. It's literally a nightmare that doesn't end. But it will end. It will end if you don't give the devil power. How do you not give the devil power and a narcissistic power? And a narcissistic person power? Not entertaining them. If you are being falsely accused and lied about and lied to, go to your room. I'm serious about this. Get down on your knees. Let your request be known to God. And at the end of your request, acknowledge God and thank Him for His Son Jesus. And everything you say in Jesus' name. Your precious Son's name. And you're going to see what I am talking about. I was never, and I've always believed in God. I've always seen miracles growing up as a child. And as life took me in America, I started, going to school. I started, as I got older, I went to work and worked hard and achieved, and I got certificates and all this. But the one person I didn't get a certificate from is God. So we worry so much about a job. We tend to exhaust ourselves, and we forget the one person that will remove all evil from us. God knows your heart. God knows your intention. God knows that you've been lied at, that you've been mistreated. But God also wants to pull you closer to Him. So every time we have a problem, that's way to God, for God to pull us closer to Him. But then when God helps us away, or God, gives us the breakthrough that we prayed for, then we make the same mistake again by moving away from Him. That's not real love. That's like up and down love. That's a narcissistic fake love. Narcissists love doing that. They love bomb you, then they destroy you, then they love bomb you again to trick you in, then they destroy you. It's like a roller coaster. That's not what God deserves. So to me, if you really want to have good communication with God, talk to Him. Don't let your request be known out loud so the devil doesn't take it and try to stop it by distracting you with more lies, more chaos, and all that. So it's important. It's very important to understand what I'm coming from. And you're going to see great things happen in your life and your family circle. I'm going to say a prayer real quick because somebody just texted me and asked me to say a prayer. So this prayer is to silence your enemy. Okay? Silence your enemy. In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Mighty God of truth, I call upon you to mute the lies and accusation of my enemies. In the face of falsehood and deceit, I declare the truth. I declare the truth of your word against all liars. Grant us, O Lord, the wisdom to discern truth from falsehood and the strength to stand firm in your righteousness. Let your light expose the darkness of deception, and may the lies of my enemies be silenced in your presence. With unwavering faith in your truth, I declare victory over the falsehood that seek to harm us, and I stand firm in knowledge that your word is a shield and that your promises are our refuge. In the name of Christ, I proclaim your truth. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Once you say that prayer, honestly, you need to go to bed. You like do a chamomile tea. That's what I love every night now. Chamomile tea, like every night. I love it. Say your prayer, drink your tea, and go to bed. Go to bed with your heart at ease. Why? Because you already asked God. You prayed to God. That's what faith is about, you guys. Faith is knowing God heard you, knowing God is your salvation, and God will vindicate you. Pray over your attorneys, pray over the judge, because baby, you're not praying over them because you love them or that you don't see that they're lying against you. You're praying over them because God will take over, and it's like hot coal on their bodies. God will either change them, soften their heart, or God would remove them. Either way, God will do what is best for you because you trust Him. Trust Him. 100% trust Him. Not 80%, not 50%, not Miss G, I trust God, but. There is no but. No but after you trust God. There is no but. I'm telling you right now, your enemy will become your footstool. I'm telling you right now, God will do what God needs to do to them, to humble them or remove them from your life completely. Either way, God will handle it. And again, prayers work. They work. If you guys need me, you know how to reach me. You can call the 888 number down here, 888-888-6582, and ask for Miss G, or you can text me directly to my work number, which is 626-631-8901. Some of you guys that want to email me your story line, please do not email me attachments, and do not give me like pictures and all this, and then you mention the Beth said and Erica said and Monica said. Who the hell is Beth and Monica? Right? You guys need to learn. Your storyline is CPS removed my children, my 3 children, August 14, 2024. Why? The reason they removed my children because they got an anonymous call. Social worker said, blah, blah, blah. Social worker said, blah, blah, blah. Anything. Do not name them. We don't know their names. Just say the social worker or the caseworker or the investigative worker said. Or I have 3 kids removed, placed in a foster home, unknown who the foster parents are. My family are fighting for my children, blah, 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 blah. So don't make it simple. Do not send me attachments and storyline of pictures and then lines of names of people. I have no idea who they are. Okay, so again, please, if you need me, you want me to hear your story, you want to see what I can do to help you, I need to know the baseline of your story. Okay, God bless you all. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Fight CPS. We'll talk with Miss G. And don't forget to pray. Bye-bye.